Hello, my darling people. It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is your podcast for the week ahead, the week of May 9th. So, how is May treating everybody? How are we feeling this energy of the Hierophant and Temperance? Are we feeling this energy of the five of the Hierophant? It's like something that gets underrated because we say the Hierophant is the Pope, because we say it is this bridge between the material and the sacred. It's this connecting energy. We fail to mention sometimes that it's also the five in the tarot, the first introduction of the five. The five is the card of challenge, of change, of freedom, of liberation. But something about the Hierophant is like very Gandalf-like, thou shall not pass. There's an energy of, are you really ready for it? Are you ready for it? Like, are you really ready for it? There's something about the Hierophant that invites you to step towards it, to step into, to own the change, to request the liberation, to move towards the freedom. And even if that requires challenge, even if that means challenge, because also what that means is creativity. Also, what that means is something new. Also, what that means is energy. Fives in the tarot are difficult energy. So when we talk about the Five of Cups, Five of Swords, Five of Wands, Five of Pentacles, all of those cards will speak to challenging emotions. When I recorded the podcast last week, I really had the sense of this week before, this week prior, so leading up to May 9th, being a delicate time. And what I've noticed, what I realized is that that image of off-gassing was real. There's something that's being released to prepare you to step into the fullness of what's next. There's something that has to get reworked so that you can be fully present to step towards this next chapter. It's going to look different for all of us. But the Magician and the Ace of Wands lit it up. The Page of Wands said to you, here it's you have a grasp of it. You can probably define it for yourself. You at least know what life is asking of you. You at least know this is where my attention needs to be. And maybe you've been brave and you've moved aside things that don't fall into that, or you've removed the distraction, or you've brought more of your time and energy into focus. I hope that you have. I hope that you've given yourself and the co-creative aspect of the universe that faith. Like, I might not know why, but I know this is right for me. I wonder if that's been your experience. I hope it has in some way. The full moon coming up, lots of chatter about the Scorpio full moon. As Scorpios, we get such a bad rap, but a lot of chatter about the Scorpio full moon. A lot of chatter that it's going to be incredibly emotional, maybe difficult. And I would probably connect it to what I just said, that if you are moving where you're meant to move, if you are allowing the things to release that are meant to release, yeah, it might be challenging. It might also be transformative. It might also be deeply satisfying. It might also be the rebirth and liberation that you've been seeking. It might give you fortitude, like support you in this movement, support you in what you've been trying to release and ready yourself to become. I hope that's what happens. I hope you feel that in some way. You feel the support of the universe in that way. Feeling that support, knowing that you've worked hard, that you work hard to live this life of alignment and integrity and clarity, to stay with yourself, to move with love, to move with kindness, to move with truth. May that be rewarded in this week ahead. The card I pulled for us is the Queen of Cups. So that is just going to agree with the chatter that this full moon might be an emotional time. We have Mother's Day coming up. In Mystic Rising, we're working with the archetypal energy of the Great Mother. And there's an invitation in our community there, but I would expand it to the broader community. There's an invitation to approach mother energy, whether it's Mother's Day now or whether it's somewhere else in your life, to kind of elevate your perspective to a more mythic perspective. The energy of the Great Mother is both the creator, the sustainer, and the destroyer. It's a cosmically wide, complex energy. And in our culture, in our history, our practical lived experience of it, it can become very reduced. We do a lot of complicated things around the idea of mother in our culture and our world. And the idea of the mother is very loaded. The idea of what it means to be a good mother, a bad mother, the value judgments around that, the focus required, the narrowing, the disappointment inherent in that, to ask, anyone to live up to this ideal of unconditional love is tricky. To be the personification of unconditional love is tricky. To feel that there's some inherent criticism of you, whether you're mothering or whether you're not mothering, like how you mother, how you don't mother. You get in trouble all the way around as a woman. It's tricky. It's really tricky territory. So I say that because A, it's a profound investigation that we're embarking on in that community. So if that speaks to you, it's never too late to join us. And I personally am struck by how deep and how embedded some of these stories and some of these, not even judgments, but momentums around mother, how they exist in my own body, in my own field, and how and what that mythic understanding of mother, how that is showing up in my everyday life. There's really interesting stuff happening there. And I say it because of that, but I say it also because of Mother's Day coming up. Mother's Day is presented one way, and our lived experience of it can be quite different. Very few of us get out of this journey without having some deep pain around the idea of how we were mothered, how we maybe continue to mother or choose not to continue to mother, choose to expand what's possible in terms of mothering, that it doesn't have to be just your own children. There's lots of ways to bring that energy into the world. And so I just offer you a wide, generous lens as you perceive and experience this celebration of the mother that comes on this Sunday. And I honor the beauty inherent in it, the precious, precious connection inherent there, the incredibly deep human longing inherent there to be cared for, to care for, to love and be loved is so fundamental. So I honor the beauty of that. And I, at the same time, please, please make room in your own heart and in your own experience for the grief that comes and the anger and the confusion and the judgment and the like weight that comes with that word, that celebration, that experience, that the way it's been narrowed in our culture. And yet we're expected to walk through that narrow little space. May we all push that wider. Like, may we all get wider with our experience of that on every level. I don't know if that makes sense, but it feels important to say. It's such a sweet idea to celebrate the mother, and it's been bastardized in so many ways. And so, honoring the part of you that longs for recognition or longs to honor that, and at the same time, leaving space for what the real world experience of that might actually be, what that might bring up, especially as it's so close to the Scorpio full moon, especially as it's so close to this soul level call to cross to the next part of your life, to cross this threshold, to leave behind what needs to be left behind. So the Queen of Cups is going to speak to that depth, and she's going to speak to hopefully what I'm trying to speak to, which is this is not a direct line, it's not a straight line. And we might have ideas about things, and we might have feelings that align with that or don't align with those ideas. And we might have subconscious yearnings that align or don't align or come into conflict or confuse or hijack those ideas and emotions. And then we might have real dreams, real deep, deep desires around what we want it to be, what we hope it will be. And then we have the lived experience of what it is. And sometimes those match. Like, that's sublime, right? Those moments where all you hope to experience, you experience. And then at the same time, there's days where it's hard. There's days where it falls short. The Queen of Cups has a great capacity for feeling. She asks you to return to your feeling body, to your emotional body. The beauty of the Queen of Cups is she's the only cup that's closed, meaning this is a double down of that message that came through so clearly last week, which is something needs to be protected. So for the Page of Wands, it's protecting the spark of it, it's nurturing the flame, it's creating a sacred space around it, a lantern around the light. For the Queen of Cups, it's something you're feeling into, something you care about, you desire, you are hoping to envision or make manifest. And it's yours. Like, it's really just yours for a moment. It doesn't mean it won't become the thing that changes everything. It doesn't mean it won't become the thing that changes the world for you, for your community, for your family, for your relationship, for your work. But for just a moment, it wants to be protected. Really important. I don't know what that's going to look like in your life, but the power of that is clear. There's something that's asking you to have grace with your own experience, to allow your own experience to kind of wave and wiggle and bend and flow, and not doubt that you're going to reach where you're going. You just might not be going in a straight line. And there's a reason. There's like a reason for the winding road. And there's that. And then there's this idea of what you are discovering. It's yours just for a little while. Something very precious about that and very quiet. Like when I say it, I want to stop talking. Like I want to be like, it's just for you. And then I want to be quiet. Doesn't really work on podcast land. But there's something about it that really is asking you to protect it, to hold it as sacred, and to bring silence to it. There's like this reverence to it. This reverence and this idea that to feed yourself with it. Whatever it's going to become, allow yourself to enjoy that for a moment before you bring it out into the world. Queen of Cups is interested in poetry, and she's interested in dreams, and she's interested in her feeling body, and she's interested in your feeling body. She's interested in the waters that connect us, and she's interested in the things we see that are ours alone. There's something about the Queen of Cups that's really asking to understand the collective, understand the universe through this singular vision, through this singular introspection. It's like she's the one who kind of curls into herself, seashell curls into herself to discover the treasure. And as she curls into herself to discover the treasure that feels so personal, something in that expands to be completely universal. And it's the beauty of poetry, right? Someone can write a poem about something so precisely specific, and in it you can feel the most universal experience, the most universal emotion. That's why she's associated with poetry, because there's this involution that leads back to source, that leads back to connection. This diving into my own experience that can't help but bring me into union with all other creatures, all other beings. That's the energy of the Queen of Cups. So this week ahead, you're going to feel deeply. You have the opportunity to feel deeply. You have the opportunity to really come alive in the dreamscape. You have the opportunity to really find beautiful inspiration for your art. You also have the invitation to get so specific with what it's like for you. Like you have full permission this week to turn all the way in and just look because you want to look, because you want to know yourself a little bit better. And instead of feeling that as a selfish act, or instead of feeling that as a limiting act, realizing that that is an act that will help you access something universal, something that everyone can understand and everyone can benefit from. So, what I feel generally is that this is going to be an emotional week. And the question is, can you let that be helpful? Can you let that be beautiful? Making sure that you create space for yourself to feel your feelings. Make sure that you create space for yourself to wobble a little bit. There's really this sense of like weaving and bobbing. And I guess like something floating on the water, right? It doesn't quite stay still, and the waters are a little bit churned up. Really calling on the energy of the full moon, speaking to the full moon, asking her to protect you and guide you, moving into the dream space with the idea of guidance. The invitation is to dive. The invitation is to dive and to find a treasure that's all yours, and then to sit with it and allow it to dialogue with you, allow it to nourish you, allow yourself to really wonder about it, just because you can, just because you can. So Queen of Cups is beautiful energy, and I like it. It feels like a pause, to be honest. It feels like a pause. It feels like we were on a course, and it feels like this moon pulls us back into our depths. Yes, you have the idea and you have the spark, but wait, source it in something deeper. But wait, come back to what this is actually trying to reveal to you about your heart, about your longings, about what you desire, about what you yearn for. The Queen of Cups really does speak to our longings. and realizing the spark feels like this light, playful thing, but it's actually sourced in something very deep, very personal, something just for you. All right, this is one of those podcasts that felt like, what did I just say? I pray that it was helpful. I turn it over to the ethers and hope that it gives you what you need. Yeah. Okay, full moon circle will be next week at Salt House. I think it's pretty full, but if you haven't gotten your seat and you want to do that and you can't get in, you can always DM me or always reach out to me and ask me to put out another seat for you, and I will. Mystic Rising, I'm telling you, the work we're doing there is beautiful and powerful, and I'm so pleased to be a part of it, so pleased to be in this journey with these women. If it calls to you, please join us there. And otherwise, just like fighting the good fight, taking good care of myself, and hope you're doing the same. I hope you're really listening to what life is asking of you, because there's something coming, like for each of us in our own way. There's some new thing taking shape, some new timeline getting ready to cross ours. And your instincts right now around what you need to be doing are your future you saying to you, this is what you need to do to prepare for this next chapter. So trust yourself. You don't need to make sense even to yourself, You can just like trust that even when you don't know how you know. All right. Check you later. Bye.